Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a review of a rather dreary, sadly, new recording of Rachmaninoff's Third Symphony, the Vocalise, and the Isle of the Dead, with John Wilson and the Sinfonia of London on Chandos. Okay, here we go, folks. What is John Wilson good at? I'm just curious. I'm not saying he's bad at anything, but what is he good at? What does he really do? You know, he's got this pickup orchestra, the Symphony of London, and they're recording blockbuster repertoire that, frankly, needs a blockbuster orchestra. This is not one of them. They're a decent studio ensemble of professional musicians. But do they have the corporate identity and power and balance and chops of a great, regularly constituted orchestra? No, they don't. It's that simple. And they're doing blockbuster repertoire, the principal attraction of which theoretically, I guess, is the engineering, which I don't find terribly impressive. Let's take the Isle of the Dead. What are the problems that we have in these performances? It's not that they're terrible. They're not terrible. They really aren't. They're just average, really average, but they have some really basic problems. The Isle of the Dead, balance. First of all, the string section is just nothing to write home about. It sounds underpowered throughout the entire disc. And with Rachmaninoff, you can't have underpowered strings. You just can't. I mean, the Isle of the Dead begins with a very simple motive that gets repeated about 100 million times. Do 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 do. It does that over and over again. It's in 5/8. Ooh, it's so cool. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2. So it gives it that sort of lopsided rowing character, because the Isle of the Dead is that wonderful, Berkland painting with the entryway with the tall cypresses and a shrouded figure in white in a boat. And you hear the waves lapping at the entrance to the cave where it's go. Oh, it's just wonderful. It's such an evocative piece. But you don't hear the tune. You don't hear the tune of the quiet bits. Sometimes you don't hear the tune of the loud bits. What's John Wilson doing? I mean, it's not hard to tell the guys, listen, here's the tune. Do, 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 do. You got to hear it. At the beginning, you don't. It's all just murk. And I don't like murk. There's no reason for murk, especially when it's very clear how the balances ought to be. So the balances are out of whack. Then you get to the big moments. These big climaxes based on the Dies Irae. Da, 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 crash, boom, Nothing. There's nothing happening. They have no power. They have no impact. They don't have much bass. I don't know what's going on with these folks. At least if you're going to do blockbuster romantic repertoire, you've got to hit the big moments. Wilson's major interpretive sort of quality, such as it is the fact that he's quick. He plays everything quickly. I mean, that's good most of the time, I actually think. I don't want to see the piece languish, but there are moments where you have to have some real rhetorical emphasis. And this Isle of the Dead is dead. There's more dead than there is isle, and that's a problem. We need the isle. It needs isle parts, not just dead parts. Okay, so then you get the Vocalise. Who cares? And the Third Symphony, which is Rachmaninoff's, sort of weakest. Let's not kid ourselves. But it has gorgeous things in it. Beautiful things. I like the fact that Wilson doesn't dawdle, because this is not a symphony that tolerates dawdling. It's really not. But it just, again, the second subject, the luscious, gorgeous second subject, it rises to the big climax. And when the brass get the tune, they're not there. They're supposed to come ringing out at the top. Do, do, do. Sorry. Right? The brass, trumpets, they get the tune. Here it's... Oh, it's just awful. You want to hear some glamour. This guy's a film music guy, right? That's where he got his reputation. Where is the glitz? The Third Symphony has a lot of cinematographic, glitzy orchestration. You don't hear it here. And the finale, I love the way he starts the finale. It's really quick. Because the finale really dies. and it's got this, the obligatory fugue in the middle. Ooh, what a mess that is here. I mean, he rips into it really, really fast, but there's no accent and it has no, it's just like desperate. It sounds truly desperate. And then the very ending is just a rush to the finish line. You still have to have accents, emphasis. Ba-da-dum-ba-bum, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. The ending is like, nope. It's just sloppy and weak. And I mean, who needs this? Really, who needs it? I mean, we've got so many recordings of the Rachmaninoff symphonies and the third. I mean, there's a really great one by Macaris. There's that wonderful Maris Jensen's EMI box. There's Leonard Slatkin on Chandos, who's just terrific. I mean, we have no shortage of this stuff. And if the engineering isn't terribly special, and it's not, and the playing isn't particularly glamorous, and it's not, who needs it? That's just the bottom line, folks. I'm sorry to say. So keep on listening, and thanks for joining me. Take care.